Oh god. Oh god. Not the Bailey. No. Not the Bailey. Whoa. Yes! I did it! I defeated the Bobish! Welcome, Robocrafters. My name is Ace, and I'm here to demystify the secrets of Robocraft 2 building. And spoilers, but it's really not that hard. I'm going to show you how to go from an empty build bay to a competitive bot, something like this, that looks cool, and I'm going to explain it in a way that you should be able to do this yourself without trouble. There are 5 basic steps to this process. They are easy to understand, and you can apply them to pretty much any design. We are going to build a pilot seat cage, decide where we want our wheels, add core armor, mount a turret, and then cover it all up and make it look nice. So for this lesson, I'm going to be building a simple 4-wheeled plasma bot with an AIO. But once you watch this, you'll be able to make pretty much any type of ground bot with wheels that you can dream up. And once you know how to do that, learning how to build other designs is easy. Well, let's get started. Step 1, build a pilot seat cage. This step is by far the easiest because you don't even have to build it yourself if you don't want to. It's included in your starter bots when you install the game. But let's build it ourselves. First, we're going to make a couple helper blocks, which are just blocks we're going to be deleting in a minute once we're done. We just need to place other blocks off of them. Make this like a 9x4, and we'll grab our pilot seat here. Now in this example, we're going to be placing it to the right and horizontally. And we're going to move these and make a couple more helper blocks here. Get rid of this one. Then we're going to press Q, click shapes, and select the plate. We're going to go across like this as a 3x9. Do another one here, and third one there. We got 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do the same thing over here. And we're going to delete these helper blocks. Make some 3x7s. Like that. Then we have these big empty spaces, and we're going to fill these with a couple wedges. And the dimensions here are kind of important because it's actually possible to block the pilot seat and you won't be able to get in. Make sure it's not bigger than 3x4x4 for this one right here. And it also can't be all the way like flush right here. You have to do it one up from there. See, like that, 3x4x4. And we have to turn off mirror mode here because we only need it on one side. Then we're also going to add one of these right here. Not quite as big, but same idea. Once you're done, just seal it up with some more plates, and we're done. On to step 2. Step 2, we're going to place our wheels. Now we need some wheels, but we don't want to just put them right on top of the cage we just built, so instead we're going to use some more helper blocks. I'm going to extend out some blocks on either side by 9 from each side of the box here, from the front and the back. I think for this bot, I'm going to have them be right in the middle of the helper blocks. I just go out like this, by 9. Oh, we want a little lower here. We can fix that if we want. It doesn't matter too much. We're going to delete that block in a minute. And same thing on this side. We can even color these to make it a little bit easier to see what we're doing. Then we're going to go and press Q and click movement. And we're going to select the small steering wheel. Make sure to not use these ones because these ones don't turn. And like we said, we're going to have them right in the middle. I'm going to have it one space up from the bottom. There we are. Now we have our wheels on both sides. Now there should be 4 blocks between the wheel and the pilot seat cage if I did this right. And there are. And there's 1 block from the bottom. Now, once we place that, we're going to make a very simple floor out of 3 9x9 plates across the bottom. Let's select our plate again, and we're just going to go right across the bottom. 9x9, 9x9, and a third 9x9. Now that we placed our wheels and we have our floor, we can remove the helper blocks and start to properly mount our wheels. First, we're going to make a 9x9 block that runs across the floor and connects our cage to the bottoms of our wheels. Like so. And another one here. After that, we want to make some wheel mounting blocks to attach to our wheel mounts here. We're going to use 2 2x6s, leaving 3 empty spaces between the front of our floor and our wheel mounting block. That's by 6, and we're going to go up by 2. And another one right here, up by 2. You can see there's 3 spaces in the front here. And we can also color these if we like. We want to just make everything super easy to see how everything is built. The idea here is to maximize health and redundant connections while minimizing the exposure of our mounting blocks to enemy fire from the front. You want them kind of big, but tucked in a little bit toward the back. Then we just have to invert the steering direction of our back wheels. To do that, press E to enter logic mode, and click the icon by the wheel you want to edit, and then simply toggle the steering direction and press E when you're finished. If you want, at this point, you can save by pressing F5, and you can take your bot into test mode and drive it around a little. You can experiment with the steering angles for each wheel. You can see those here. But leave the suspension settings alone for now, because we're going to be adding a lot of weight in a second here, because it's time for step 3. Step 3, core armor. So we have our box with our little RoboPal Cray inside, and we can drive it around, but he doesn't have much armor protecting him. Now, I could go into detail about how damage works in Robocraft 2, and I probably will in a separate video later on, but for now, let's just explain what we actually do, because the building techniques themselves are very simple. I'm going to teach you one of them now that I like to call vertical striping. First, we're going to grab a normal plate, press Q, shapes, grab the plate here, and we're going to make a 2x9x1 stripe running across from our cage to the front of our bot. Then we're going to make another 2x9x1 that goes on top of that. Then just place along these stripes and fill the entire space in here. Once you're done, just repeat the process for the back. I'm gonna color these for fun. You don't have to. And we also want mini versions of these on the sides of our cage between the wheels. But for these, we're gonna alternate between plates and normal blocks. Now our core is essentially done, but we want to do one more thing to make it stronger before we cover it all up and it's hard to get to, and that's swapping materials. To start, press M to open the material palette. So you have 3 material slots, and by default you'll be using the first slot, which is set to Moderonium, the standard material. Your slot 3 should be set to Ladium, which is the heavy material. We're going to switch slot 3 to triangular plated Ladium, All types of Ladium have the same stats, but this Ladium is much easier to see, and we can swap it back later if we want a different look. Press Q to open up the material menu. When you're in the material menu, it's a little hard to explain, but you can switch between these like this. Then press heavy and choose triangular plated. Make sure you have slot 3 selected, and that will set slot 3 as triangular plated. Now we can paint with this the same as we would for colors, and we're going to alternate our stripes with Ladium and also make our pilot seat cage out of Ladium. Oops. So for our pilot seat here, we have to open it up a little, but it's really easy to seal it back up. Once we're done, we should be ready for step 4. Step 4, making a turret mount. For this bot, we're going to be using what's called an AIO, or an all-in-one turret, which is basically what you're probably used to from Robocraft 1. You can make a custom turret, but it's difficult to do well, so we're going to save that for a later video. For this, we're going to be making stripes similar to what we used for the core armor. We're going to remove the top of our pilot seat cage and then line a bunch of Ladium plates to fill a space with a size of 3 by 3 by 2. The reason we do it this way is because things attached to the pilot seat get a strength bonus, so we're attaching our mount here to make it strong. You might have to press O here to get your plates to be oriented in the other direction. After that, we just grab our AIO from the weapons page, press Q, click weapons, and we're looking for the standard plasma turret. And we place it centered on the mount. Then we're going to use some Ladium blocks to surround the mount. Step 5, cover it all up. So I know this looks really unfinished, but at this point you're actually kind of almost done. From here you just need to decide where you want to put some standard ablative armor around your core, if you want things like wheel skirts, how much protection you want around your turret mount, do you want like a cradle, things like that. I kind of recommend you build a cradle. Do you want things like that around the side of your pilot seat, areas like this. take your time with this. Have fun. Use any extra CPU you have on decoration. I'll show up a sped up montage of this process because this is really where your own personal creativity will shine the most.